Hello everyone. Welcome to this special day. Today marks the 8th year anniversary of the implementation of one of the biggest tax reforms that this country has ever seen since our independence, which was the implementation of GST. GST is a very dynamic tax. It always has been. It was implemented by the central government, but it had to be trickled down both at a policy level and at an implementation level right to the beneficiaries, which are people like you and I, which are the taxpayers. So today, to mark the 8th year anniversary of this amazing tax reform that the government has introduced, we speak to a lot of personalities who have in some shape or form contributed, shaped and defined how you and I get affected with GST and how you and I understand GST. So let's go ahead and have these conversations. Sir, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You have been in the financial ecosystem and especially in the tax ecosystem for about 35 years, if I'm not wrong, right?
It's more 43 years.
43 years. Great. So from your perspective, there's the experience, and then you are a practitioner as well, right? So from your perspective, how has GST changed the role of CMAs and tax professionals?
GST has created many more opportunities for CMAs. CMAs and other professionals also, which include restructuring of business, tax planning, cost management and cost reduction through non-conventional methods, then imparting training to clients and drafting reply to show cause notices, drafting appeals and appearing before various authorities.
Right.
Earlier, this type of area was not there with the CMS, but GST gave this opportunity to CMS. Of course, every opportunity comes with the challenges.
Correct.
And therefore, CMS need to acquire knowledge of different tax laws, communication skills, and cost reduction techniques by non-conventional methods. That's the advice to CMS from my side.
So you work with a lot of MSMEs, and MSMEs especially is a very, very challenging domain of the country, right? They are dealing with a lot of problems on a daily basis. So what are some key challenges that you see they face?
The biggest challenge faced by MSMEs is mismatch of input tax credit or matching of input tax credit.
Okay.
Many suppliers declare their invoice details not in the same month subsequently. And unless and until the supplier's invoice appear in the GSTR 2B portal, the recipient cannot take credit. And this affects the working capital management of MSMEs very, very badly.
Correct.
Secondly, though MSME Act provides that MSME should get payment within 45 days from the customer.
Correct.
But GST law provides time limit of 180 days.
Oh, for IT.
And that mismatch also creates a lot of problems for MSMEs, particularly in the working capital, because they are always short of funds.
Correct. Of course, unfortunately.
That's the pain area for MSMEs, sir.
Sir, so you've been in the system for 43 years, right? And when you started, it was all manual bookkeeping, record keeping. Then technology came, but they were a whole gamut of taxes. Then GST came, streamlining happened. And then again, technology advanced, and now technology is advancing on a daily basis. So I want to understand, how has your journey and exposure been through this whole process? And then how do you see technology contributing to the ecosystem, making it more efficient, all of that?
First of all, the thought process, the mindset, we had to change the mindset also. Earlier, it was all manual.
Yes.
Now everything is on a real-time basis. E-invoicing system.
Correct.
Government comes to know the transactions on a real-time basis.
Correct.
And therefore, CMAs also need to gear up and acquire the knowledge of very different techniques, different tools to match with the change in the technology. They have to basically understand different tools, different AI systems,
Right.
to basically uh, match with the change in the technologies. Of course, there are other challenges also. The technology change, one of the technology changes e-way bill.
Yes.
That's a that's a real a pain area in some of the areas, because for minor defects or maybe procedural lapses, huge penalties are imposed, vehicles are detained, and the suppliers are suffering a lot. So e-way bill and the implementation, the provision is very good, but that
Implementation
on
has
the
become a
part
challenge.
of implementation,
Right.
lot of liberalization and improvement is required from that point.
Right.
And we understand that there are some gangs operating in some of the states. They are not the GST officers, but under the name of the GST officers,
Yes.
such type of transactions are also taking place. That should be controlled. Then only the suppliers and taxpayers will get some relief.
So post GST, in your, I would like to take some of your memories wherein post GST, because the CMAs now got a lot more empowered by this tax structure. Some anecdotes that you have wherein a CMA literally helped a client either become efficient or recover some of their losses.
Definitely, there are number of cases where CMAs have given proper advice. They also advised and they entered into the areas of business restructuring,
Yes.
merger, demerger. One of the case, if I would like to mention, that in one of the case, a group of companies, they had different companies for different products,
Okay.
and one of the company was engaged only in the manufacture of the electricity or generation of electricity,
Okay.
generation of power. Now, electricity being an exempted product from GST, the input tax credit on the capital goods and coal and other inputs is not available to the power generation
Correct.
company. Now, on the basis of advice given by cost accountants or practicing professionals, the company decided to merge with other manufacturing company
In the same group.
in the same group, so that generation of electricity or power became the product captively consumed in the further manufacture of taxable product, and they could avail the huge input tax credit on the capital goods. This is just one example.
One example. Right.
Another example is carving out or demerger of the business. A company was basically having business. They were in the supply of some taxable products and some exempted services.
Right.
That also created very problems for them in availment of input tax credit. So basically, the advice was given to demerge the activities, carve out the exempted activities from the main
Separately.
company,
Correct.
and the company saved lot of as far as input tax credit. So these type of advice given by CMAs have helped the business entities to a great extent.
Correct.
Restructuring of business, restructuring of basically the activities also, that has helped the business entities a lot, sir.
Sir, so on this very topic, right? So these examples that you gave, they highlight the value that a CMA holds. Now, I want to take your attention to a very different topic. A lot of these youngsters who are coming out of the education system these days, right? They are always attracted towards flashy, jazzy, high-paying jobs, but not focused on, for a lack of better word, value-driven services, right? So, what is your message to these young professionals who are coming out in the job market or the economy?
They got a very great role to play. They got huge opportunities, but result-oriented practice needs that they should be ready to learn new techniques, different legal provisions, law provisions, and communication skills, written as well as verbal.
Right.
If they acquire this, then there is the sky is the limit for them.
Correct. And sir, one last question before I thank you for your time. What role do you see, or how important do you see is existence of institutions like ICMAI and CMAs is for the current financial ecosystem, and what's your message to them?
See, the involvement of professionals in routine work is reduced due to AI and other techniques.
Correct.
Routine work. Now, therefore, the mindset needs to be changed. They should focus more on the value addition activities.
Correct.
Like tax planning, maybe litigations, business restructuring, because these are all remunerative areas as well as result oriented areas.
Correct.
And therefore, if the cost accountant, new entrants, start practice considering this aspect before them, definitely they will be very successful in the business. Only thing they should be ready to learn new techniques, and continuous updation is required for that purpose.
Got it. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much,
It's a
sir.
pleasure hosting you, and look forward to many more